And do yours.
Welcome back to Trial Truth, where real courtroom chaos unfolds before your eyes. Today, we're diving into a jaw-dropping case out of Michigan, where accusations of domestic violence, alleged assault, and bizarre forensic gaps collide in a legal showdown you won't believe. Meet Michael, a towering defendant standing accused of brutalizing Jessica Kirkland, a woman whose testimony shocks everyone. But here's the twist. There are mysterious missing objects, conflicting injury evidence, and a legal back and forth so intense that even Judge Simpson can't hide his frustration. We're talking about claims of penetration without proof, missing vodka bottles, destroyed security systems, and contradictory statements, all wrapped inside one of the most chaotic investigations you'll ever witness. Stay tuned, because what unfolds in this courtroom blurs the line between fact and fiction, and by the end you'll have to decide for yourself. Is Michael a violent predator, or is this an investigation gone horribly wrong?
Really, Vincent? Seriously, you just throw your case on the table? No, never mistake my courtroom for your home. All right. Court calls the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Michael O'Leary.
Michael Vincent on behalf of Michael O'Leary.
Right, this is the date and almost time for the continuation of preliminary examination in this matter.
Absolutely. Just to confirm, we are on YouTube, correct? Thank you.
Sure. Yeah.
At the last hearing, the people said I do not have any additional witnesses. Deputy Corona is here.
Mr. Benson.
Yes, I'd like to call Deputy Courtroom to the stand.
Did he? Benson? I wasn't listening. All right. Sir, please come forward and be sworn.
Solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. See, state, spell your first and last name for the record, please.
Matthew Corona, Matthew
And here we go. The first real witness, Deputy Matthew Corona. This man's testimony is critical because he's the boots-on-the-ground investigator who took Jessica Kirkland's statements and documented the alleged assault. Now here's why this moment matters. Everything Jessica reported, being punched repeatedly, dragged, possibly penetrated by a cold object, and terrorized with a vehicle, runs through Corona's documentation. But pay attention closely. Corona's answers are measured, almost too neutral at times. That's a red flag in a case this explosive. Was he being cautious to avoid misstatements, or does the lack of vivid detail hint at gaps in the investigation? Viewers, what do you think? Shouldn't a deputy sound firm and confident when recounting such serious allegations? Drop your thoughts below, because this testimony sets the foundation for the storm to come.
May I inquire?
Deputy, how long have you been a deputy?
On the road 5 years.
Prior to that, jail?
2 years. Approximately.
Okay. And you've, last 5 years, you worked the road,
Yes, sir.
taking calls.
Yes, sir.
On February 9th, it started at the 9th and went into the 10th. Is that fair?
I started at midnight, so. At
Okay. Did you take a call at that address?
sir.
Did you encounter a Jessica Kirkland?
Yes, sir.
And did she make several reports to you about a variety of incidents that she had with Michael O'Leary? Now I'm going to ask you about some of those. Were one of those incidents, and it's in the police report, page 11 of your report, if you want to refresh your memory.
Do you want me to move it up to a mic? He's got it.
Well, maybe I just read it to them and if he agrees with. It says in your report, Michael punched her in the head several times, Michael O'Leary. Is that correct? You remember taking that report?
This is the first bombshell allegation. Jessica claims Michael repeatedly punched her in the head. Now, here's where legal insight kicks in. the prosecution leans heavily on pattern evidence. Multiple strikes, especially from a man described as 6'4" and 200+ pounds, significantly elevate potential assault charges. But hold on, defense attorneys live for these moments. Why? Because the photos later introduced show minimal facial injuries. If a man of that size really landed multiple direct blows, you'd expect broken noses, swelling, orbital fractures.
Now things heat up. The defense claims the tenant edited his videos and left out crucial moments. Whenever you hear words like carefully edited in court, you know credibility is about to be the battleground.
The works. Yet here we have scratches, redness, but no catastrophic injuries. Does that mean Jessica exaggerated, or does it point to inconsistent reporting by investigators? Do you believe repeated punches can leave almost no lasting marks, or is this where the reasonable doubt starts creeping in?
I remember typing that report, I can't say that set that report in my report. Yes, sir.
I'm reading it verbatim to you.
Yep.
And would you agree with me that Michael O'Leary is about 6 or well over 200 pounds?
Approximately, sure.
Okay. And Ms. Kirtland, more than one time told you that she was punched in the face, correct? Head in the face. Okay. Did she say both head and face?
I don't know.
Okay. Have you seen people who got punched in the face during 5 years on the road?
I would say so, yes.
Have you seen people who got punched in the face by a man 6'4", approximately well over 200 pounds? Do they, assuming the punch lands squarely in the face, is it your experience that causes severe injury?
Strong.
That's wrong.
I can't say it always happens or it doesn't always happen.
Does it happen? Sometimes so.
I'm sure it does, yeah.
And in your experience, have you seen people punched in the face by a large man several times? If you don't, can't recall, that's fine. Okay, all right. You heard a report that she was dragged or ended up near a stump on her property, which I think is, it's a kind of a half oval shaped driveway, gravel driveway. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
And there's a stump somewhere kind of towards the top of that oval near the house.
Somewhere on the property.
Do you remember her telling you that it was laying down there and something penetrated her that was cold? Do you remember? And do you remember her giving you any kind of detail about that?
This is where the case takes a wild turn. Jessica claims that while lying near a stump, something cold was used to penetrate her. But here's the kicker. She later rules Michael out entirely as the one responsible. From a legal perspective, this changes everything. Without tying Michael to the act, and with no recovered object, no DNA, no forensic trail, the prosecution's burden skyrockets. Yet despite this, they continue building their case around this mystery detail. This is why Judge Simpson later pressures both sides. If nobody looked for the object, how can we hang a CSC charge on this man? Viewers, ask yourselves, would you consider this oversight, reasonable investigative error, or a serious breach of justice? Comment investigative mess if you think this undermines the entire case.
Besides that, it was cold. She wasn't part of my.
She ruled that out, correct? Now, did you ever look for that? You and Sergeant Thompson showed up there also, correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was one other deputy that arrived. As a matter of fact, the deputy who ended up arresting Michael O'Leary. Did anybody look for that, I'm going to call it, object?
I did not. I assume that other deputies did because I had an extensive conversation with Jessica.
Did you see anybody looking for that object?
I can't say that for sure.
Do you have any information that that object was recovered? If you did, it'd be in your police report, correct? So nobody told you that they recovered an object, because otherwise it would be in there. It's a pretty comprehensive report, and you'd put it in there. Do you know if a dog was called out to look for that object? Were you informed that Miss Kirtland was on her period or begun her period at that time? Okay, you were told that. Okay. Now, did anybody, to your knowledge, go around that tree stump, walk around it anywhere, and look for that object? You remember a conversation in the barn between you, Sergeant Thompson, and Miss Kirtland, when Sergeant Thompson asked about going to the hospital?
I can't recall.
Do you remember her asking, do you need to go to the hospital? And Miss Kirtland said, no, I've had concussions before.
I can't recall that exact statement.
Here's a moment prosecutors hate explaining to juries. Jessica refused a SANE exam, a sexual assault nurse examination, the gold standard for proving penetration. Without that exam, there's no medical confirmation, no trace evidence, and no independent validation of her claims. The defense pounces on this hard, suggesting Jessica declined because she knew nothing would be found. But let's play devil's advocate. Trauma survivors often refuse exams out of fear or shame. Refusal doesn't equal fabrication. Still, when the prosecution already lacks physical evidence, this decision leaves them vulnerable to reasonable doubt. Would you, as a juror, find this omission forgivable, or would you see it as case-breaking negligence?
But I'm sure I asked her at one point if she wanted to go.
And then do you remember Sergeant Thompson asking her, no, this would be for a SANE kit for the examination that the hospital does for sexual assault?
I don't recall that specific question.
Do you remember her turning down that request? You don't remember that? You remember when you asked Ms. Kirtland, how did Michael O'Leary lose his front tooth? And she told you, I punched it, knocked it out?
Saying she punched him in the face, knocking his tooth out.
Okay. In your practice and training, is it usually the case that people who were sexually assaulted are requested to go to the hospital for a SANE examination? You know what a SANE examination is, correct? Which is a specialized nurse looks for signs of penetration of a woman's vagina. In your training experience, you recall that being the protocol? So it wouldn't be unusual for her to be asked to have a SANE examination. Do you know if she ever had a SANE examination? On your police report, I'll dial up the page. There's a section called Domestic Violence Supplement Report. Do you remember filling that out?
I did not know that.
You remember it being included in your report? Do you know who filled that form out?
Deputy.
Pardon me?
Deputy.
Did you have a chance to review it? You remember on there's like a breakdown of victim, suspect, relationships, medical treatment, things like that. You're familiar with the form, obviously. Now, on victim, it's checked alcohol. Would that mean, according to your training and experience, that means the victim had some type of alcohol?
This tiny checkbox turns into a courtroom grenade. The defense seizes on it, implying Jessica may have been intoxicated during the incident, potentially undermining her memory and credibility. But here's the twist. Deputy Corona clarifies that the alcohol box was likely checked by mistake. He testifies that Jessica showed no signs of intoxication. Still, this creates narrative chaos. On paper, the official record flags alcohol. In testimony, the officer says otherwise. That inconsistency can be exploited ruthlessly by defense attorneys when sowing seeds of doubt. Do you think this was just a clerical slip or another sign of a sloppy investigation? Let us know below.
In her system?
Such, yes.
Okay. Also, the word calm was checked. So do you remember that being checked for the victim? Okay. And down at the bottom, it says medical treatment is checked none. Do you remember that, seeing that? There's talk about consumption of vodka out of a vodka bottle. Did you ever recover the vodka bottle? No. There's an accusation that the security system was messed up, tinkered with, destroyed, and so I don't know exactly, but ruined or wrecked that excuse me. Ms. Kirtland said that her security system had been destroyed by Michael O'Leary. Do you remember that?
This point is jaw-dropping. Jessica claims Michael destroyed her home security system, yet police never recovered it, never fingerprinted it, and never accessed any backup footage. Think about how critical that footage could have been. If Michael really destroyed it, that's consciousness of guilt, a legal goldmine for prosecutors. If it wasn't destroyed, those recordings could have confirmed or debunked Jessica's entire story. And yet, nothing. No collection, no follow-up, no forensic sweep. It's as if one of the most vital pieces of evidence vanished into thin air. How does an investigation into possible felony assault and CSC charges skip something so obvious? Viewers, if you were the judge, would this shake your faith in the prosecution's case?
Was the security system ever recovered? You know if it was fingerprinted? Do you know that there was I forget exactly what you call them, those door cameras that record people going up to the door? Do you remember seeing that at the house? So nobody got a hold of a door cam, correct? To your knowledge? Okay. Now, there also was an accusation while Miss Kirtland was laying down by this tree stump that a motor vehicle came up to her so close that the bumper hit the tree, not her, hit the tree. Did anybody look around and take pictures of the tire tracks there?
Unbelievable. Jessica claims a truck came so close that the bumper clipped a tree, but not her. If true, this could establish reckless intent or...
And here it comes. Courtroom meltdown warning. The defendant accuses perjury. The judge steps in, and tensions hit maximum voltage. These exchanges are exactly why these cases go viral.
Intimidation by Michael. But here's where the investigation completely unravels. Not a single officer photographs tire tracks, examines the truck's wheels, or collects grass and soil samples. The deputy admits, "I didn't look." For a possible felony assault case, this is jaw-dropping negligence. Missing tire track evidence means the defense can argue, if no one checked, how do we even know a truck was there? Viewers weigh in. Is this investigative oversight, or do you think police simply never believed Jessica's account to begin with?
I don't recall saying that a truck hit a tree, but I can also say I didn't look for tire tracks.
Nobody looked for tire tracks.
Not to my knowledge, I didn't.
Now, the weather conditions there, even though it was February, there was no snow on the ground, correct? And did anybody take pictures of the truck tire to see if there was grass on it?
I know I didn't.
Okay. Within the report, there were several mentions of her hair being pulled. The photographs that I've looked at, and I imagine you've looked at, shows Miss Kirtland with long hair. Did anybody collect any hair that was pulled out of her head?
I did not collect any loose hair.
Did you see any loose hair around?
I didn't observe any.
Did you look on the couch in the living room? Did you look in the truck?
Another crucial lead, ignored. Jessica reported her hair being pulled during the struggle. That means possible DNA evidence, corroboration, or even injuries aligning with her account. And yet, no one collected loose strands, searched the couch, or scanned the truck. The deputy's admission, nobody reported finding any hair. This matters because physical corroboration can make or break a domestic violence case. Without it, the defense can paint Jessica's testimony as unsupported and unreliable. Do you think this is police failure or deliberate investigative minimalism? Because either way, it leaves the prosecution exposed and the jury questioning everything.
And nobody reported to you, I have a bunch of long brown hair. You're right, could I have a minute?
Yes.
So as far as you, there was no investigation on whether or not a large truck, there's a large truck we're talking about, correct? Yeah, pickup truck. Large wheels. If you remember, if you don't remember,
I can't recall.
No, it's okay.
That's also open to interpretation.
yeah. But as far as you know, there was no investigation of whether or not this large truck went off the gravel roadway onto grass in and around that stump we've been talking about.
This is the third investigative strike, and arguably the most damaging. The entire penetration allegation centers on that tree stump area. If a vehicle approached, if an object was discarded, if anything physical happened there, that ground should have been crawled over with forensics. Instead, no photos, no soil analysis, no object recovery, no follow-up. Judge Simpson later tears into this, practically calling it investigative malpractice. Imagine presenting this to a jury, a potentially life-changing CSC charge, but the alleged crime scene wasn't even examined properly. At this point, would you trust the state's case if you were sitting on this jury?
Okay. Thank you. Coming on your day off.
Really? Any questions?
Deputy, is this your report here? Your Honor, may I approach the witness with
You
this
may.
report? Thank you. Brought that up to you because I'm going to direct you to a couple of specific pages. First, I want to talk about the lethality report, the form, that's a standard form that Deputy Knott filled out. Mr. Vincent asked you about the box that is checked with the word alcohol. Do you recall that line of questioning? And Mr. Vincent asked you, does that mean that a victim had alcohol? And then I didn't write out the rest of the question. Do you recall that? And your answer was something along the lines of, I believe so. Do you recall that? When you answered that question, did you understand defense counsel to be, generally speaking, when that box is checked, does it mean that a victim has consumed alcohol? That's how you were answering that question in the general use.
Yes.
You were not answering that question to indicate that this particular victim had consumed alcohol or was exhibiting signs of intoxication.
That box being checked.
Should not have been checked. Let's talk about the should not have been checked part. When you interacted with the victim, did you observe any signs of intoxication of her? Did you receive any evidence by viewing her or speaking to her that indicated to you that she was intoxicated by the use of alcohol? What about intoxicated by the use of any other substances? Thank you. Thank you for clarifying there. Turning your attention to page 9 of your report, and let me know when you're there. Mr. Vincent asked you a couple of questions. He asked you about the victim telling you that she had been punched in the head or the face, and you said you couldn't recall exactly what you said. Recall this line of questioning? I'm on page 9 of 19. I'm in the last paragraph. And if Your Honor, if I may approach the witness, I can.
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I apologize for my time up there, Your Honor. I'm on
No,
page
it's okay.
9 of my report, and I want to make sure Mr. Vincent
I'm
has
on
the same
page 9.
copy as me. And he does.
9 is a 29 on yours.
Yes, it's not the same 9 as Deputy Corona's, however. He's on a different 10. So, Deputy Corona, I have marked a little section there of where I'm at on our page 9 of your report. If you could read that out loud for us.
At which time Michael punched her in the head several times.
Thank you. That's taken from your section of your report where you are outlining what Jessica is telling you, correct?
Yes.
Thank you. I am going to turn to page 10 of my report. I'm still in the narrative of Jessica. So I'm going to come up, if Your Honor allows, to the witness
Yes.
stand. Thank you. Page 11, is that yours, right?
Nope, I'm still on 10 now.
Perfect, thank you. So we're all on page 10, and I'm in the second to last paragraph.
Yeah.
And I'm going to start here. Thank you. Mr. Vincent asked you a line of questioning regarding the victim's statement to you about the penetration. Do you recall that line of questioning? I'm on page 10 of your report. I've outlined a specific section for us. Could you please read that into the record?
Michael pulled her shoes off and pulled her pants off and shoved something into her vagina. Jessica was unaware of what it was that was shoved into her, but described it as being cold and knew it was not part of Michael. Jessica confirmed the object.
Thank you.